Hey all, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teresa. Thank you for joining me. As many of you know, I created this channel to help spread awareness for addiction by sharing my daughter's story, her battle and loss to addiction, as well as my family's story of life after loss. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different and just do a YouTube chat out of my car. I decided to jump on here and talk about signs of addiction. What would you do if you found out your loved one or your child was battling with addiction? Are you prepared to talk to them? Are you prepared for the outcome? You probably answered no, because most of us are not prepared for our loved ones to battle with addiction. Awareness is extremely important to help those that aren't familiar with addiction or the signs or what to do to help loved ones that are battling with addiction. If you were approached and knew that your child was battling addiction, the first thing we always want to do is comfort our child, make sure they are okay, see what we can do to help. That's always the first and foremost thing. But what if they refuse to get help? If they're not ready? That's the hardest part, is trying to help an addict that isn't ready to get the help. I went through that for years with my daughter through her addiction. Seeing her self-medicate, seeing her battle with addiction, what it did to her emotionally, physically, it was draining and heartbreaking. We are never prepared to have a child battle with addiction or a loved one. It's not something that we think about or expect, but it happens every day. Many people have loved ones that battle with addiction, and many have lost loved ones due to addiction. It's important to understand addiction, know the signs, be aware of what you can do to help, what to look for, prevention, catching it early on. These are all important things, important factors that need to be looked at if the situation arises that a loved one is using drugs. When my daughter began using drugs, I wasn't familiar with her use. When she began using heroin, I didn't know anything about it except for through movies that I've seen. And because of those movies, it scared the hell out of me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to approach it or how to save her. But ultimately, I realized that no matter what I did, she had to want it too. She had to want to get clean. She had to want to get help. That is the biggest battle and struggle with trying to help an addict. If they're not ready, they're not going to get clean. And if they do get clean, it won't be for long term because it's not on their terms. They have to want it to stay sober. They can't do it because we want them to do it as their family, their parents, siblings, loved ones. They have to want to do it. Be informed. Get to know what the signs are, what to do, how to approach the situation. Every situation is different, but the one most important thing is love them, don't enable them. If you enable an addict, they're not going to stop. Sometimes they have to hit rock bottom. And I hate to say that, but they do. Sometimes it gets to that point where they won't open their eyes until they have nothing. They always have their family, but it's just not the same. I fought for years to help my daughter get sober. Many times she fought me back because she wasn't ready. Many times she resisted and avoided me and fought with me. And it was the hardest thing I ever went through, fighting for her, fighting with her to get her sober. But it was also something I would never regret. I would always fight for my children, even when they're not able to fight for themselves. The harder she resisted, the harder I fought for her. The harder I pushed her to fight for herself. Know the signs. Get familiar. Be aware. Focus on prevention. If we can address from the signs head on early on, there's a better chance that we can save a life. If you have any questions regarding my daughter's battle, or any questions that you may have for me from my experience of my daughter's addiction and fighting with her and just going through it with her, trying to help her save her life, please don't hesitate to ask. Leave your questions in the comments below and I will address them. Today I just want to make sure that we raise awareness, that we are knowledgeable of addiction, and that we focus on prevention. Do what we can to help those that are struggling. Thank you so much for your love and support and continuing to help me in raising awareness. Together we can and are making a difference. Have a blessed evening. God bless.